I mean, people can't even imagine. But to reach there, we went backwards. We said, okay, we have to use some kind of a leftist strategy. So I picked up some great things from the left system of working. There's nothing wrong with that. See, ultimately, there is, if anybody says this is correct and that is incorrect, that person is incorrect. There are always some useful things here, useful things there. Pick up from everywhere. Suppose you are a music director and I give you an assignment that, okay, do some music which represents complete India. You can't say, I don't like this region, so I won't take it. You can't say, मेरी तो उन लोगों से लड़ाई चल रही है आजकल on caste basis or religion basis, I won't pick up. You can't do that. So I picked up, and I have been part of that politics. So I said, this has to work at a very different level. So I wrote this book, Urban Naxals, and then I planned. I said, let's make a trilogy. First film we made, Right to Truth. Okay, in India, the easiest thing is, if you want to lie, just speak the word truth. Okay, you say सत्य की खोज में, और उसके बाद आप सबको बेवकूफ बना सकते हैं. Because it's not that we are gullible, because it's part of our DNA. It's like somebody says, dal chawal khate, nobody says no anywhere. You can say dal sambar or dal something, but nobody says no in India because it's so natural. If I say, acha bahar ja rahi hu, apne bachche ko mere paas chhod do, you will never distrust me. Right, but so with that intention, I said Right to Truth. With Tashkent Files, I put the most intellectual film in front of people, more complex, most difficult film. And when I realized that people are ready to accept this, when that film became a sleeper hit, then by the time we were working on Kashmir Files, then we said, let's bring a more bolder film to people. Are they ready or not to see this kind of harsh truth about themselves? And we brought it. And now I'm making the Delhi Files. And why I'm making Delhi Files is, Kashmir Files, there has so much has been spoken about it that there's nothing left to tell. Delhi Files I'm making, and Shefali, you travel a lot, you know it in your heart what I'm saying, that forget young generation, even middle-aged people up to 50, 55, don't even know the area where they live, what has gone there. And all of them call themselves Hindu activists or Jai Shri Ram activists or Sanatan activists, and they know nothing about what has happened there. Because I'll give you two examples. Okay, and why I feel more responsible to tell this truth now, I was in Calcutta. And Sopan Das Gupta had invited me for some event. So I went in National Museum, आपने देखा होगा वो. तो वहाँ पे full ऊपर नीचे means more than 1,000, 1,500 people, and in Calcutta, Bengal, you get lot of crowd, lot of people come. So jam-packed everywhere, and mostly well-to-do IT people, and like today's young, urban, progressive professionals. So while talking, I said कि a few days back we came here to do research. My team was then arrested, and then we had to pull some strings and get them out. And they were, if I was not doing a research on action day, if I was doing research on something, nobody would have arrested them. And then suddenly I realized there was no response. So I asked, how many of you know about Direct Action Day? You will be surprised, not even 5 or 10% hands came out. And those were also older people. Which means the young people living in Bengal do not know. If you don't know about Direct Action Day, Google it just now and just go to the photos, pictures, and the first picture you will see taken by Time and New York Times, you won't be able to sleep today. You can't have food after that. Similarly, I was in Kerala, in Calicut. Calicut, on the same beach from where Gandhiji, for the first time on 16th August 1920, made an announcement that it is a moral duty of all Hindus to support Khilafat, आजकल trending का ये Khilafat, because our Muslim brothers have been cheated by the Britain, and and from there Swaraj movement started. There was no Swaraj before that. And there was no Asahyog Andolan before that started. Asahyog, non-cooperation, was started basically to support Khilafat. He said, Khilafat ke liye we will not cooperate with the British government. Do you know that? Did you know that? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. Even historians don't know that. Because all the books you have read on partition are 10% of truth, that's it. Indian students are not taught about cabinet mission. Because when you will be taught about cabinet mission, I'm sorry, a lot of Hindus may not like to know the truth, but you will be shocked and surprised that every single person over there wanted two nations, including Ambedkar. They had their valid reasons that I'm not getting into that. Every single, only two people who were against it, you can't even guess their names. Because nobody taught you. One was Maulana Azad, and the second was Tara Singh, Sardar Tara Singh. And he said at that time, if you sow this seed now, then there will be a demand for Dalistan, Dalithistan, there will be for Dravidistan, and there will be for Sikhistan. He didn't use the word Khalistan. He said Sikhistan because tab Khalsa itna important nahi tha. He said that Tara Singh. And when I was reading the documents I got from Parliament of Cabinet Mission, suddenly my respect grew for that man who I didn't know. So our real heroes are very different from the people. Gopal Patha, for example, you are deliberately not taught about him, but look at what he did at that point of time. Suppose your children and your house is under attack and somebody comes to save you, isn't he like God to you? So we have deliberately taken out the pages from your family album. And now you have no clue who is your grandfather, or you ever had an ancestral house. If she had not spoken about Goa, nobody in India, before Shefali spoke about Goa, nobody in this country knew about Goa. Right? So what I am trying to do is, in Delhi Files, we are chronicling or documenting or registering, but we are telling a fascinating story of 100 years of Hindu genocide. Though it's 800, 900 years of Hindu genocide, I am just taking 100 in the context of what is not known. Akbar Aurangzeb ne kiya bachcha bachcha janta hai, or he can imagine, you don't have to tell much. But this is a documented history by the Britishers, by the Muslim League, and by the Congress. So only on these three documents we are making that film with our own research. We started in March 2020 when lockdown came, and we are at the last end of it, hopefully next month, and then we go for shooting that film. So that film is a very difficult film for everybody, because पहले तो उसमें सिर्फ वो Islamist terrorists वगैरह involved थे, Kashmir files में तो educationists will get involved, historians will get involved, whole lot of people will get involved. But somebody has to do it. It has to be done.
You have described yourself as a disruptor, and I can see why, because that is what your filmmaking has been all about, disrupting the standard narrative and telling the truths. Now I want to ask you the next question. See, you paved the path, and there were other courageous filmmakers as well who chose to tell uncomfortable truths, like Sudipto made Kerala story, like now Article 370 has just been released. But having said that, even though the films were commercially successful, there is still been cancel culture that you have had to face, that Sudipto has had to face. In this state, Kerala Files was not allowed to be screened, even though it was legally given a permission by the censor board, but the people of Tamil Nadu were denied. So this cancel culture still exists, and I am sure you have faced problems while showing your series on OTT or even showing your film on OTT. So when is this going to change? When is this cancel culture going to change? And why is even commercially viable movies are not making a dent in this this established, I would say, clique of filmmakers and reviewers?
See, cancel culture will change only when democracy, the structure of democracy changes, Otherwise, it's impossible. When you make your democracy a competitive electoral game, then how will you cancel the cancel culture? It's impossible. It's a human nature. And it happens from all the sides. It's not, talking about cancel culture if somebody wants to feel superior that, okay, we don't do it, somebody else do it, that's a lie. You are lying to yourself. All of us are cancelling somebody or the other all the times. All political Democrats cancel Republicans, Republicans cancel. Pandav were cancelled by Kaurav. They tried to, but they couldn't. So, वो मैंने देख लिया. I saw it in 2009, 10, 11, and after that I stopped bothering about cancel culture. If one is so bothered about cancel culture, don't come in the game. If you are in the competitive, fierce, like cutthroat, bloody game, then you should be prepared to get some blows and let some blood come out. You cannot say somebody has punched me. So I'm beyond that now. So I don't even care about cancel culture and all that. Okay, and if I start thinking about cancel culture, I won't be able to do what I am doing. So it's a strategy also, it's a tactic. I cannot afford to worry too much about cancel culture. And if I say I'm against cancel culture, then my conscience has to be very clear, have I cancelled somebody or not? Because we do that. We very often, in social media, we do it. Kuch acha nahi laga, keh diya, this guy is bogus and he's this, and we cancel, you know. So we cancel all the times in our mind or social. Urban Nexus, they try to cancel me, I cancel them, you know. And the next time मेरी एक book आने वाली है, अभी जल्दी काफी काम कर रहा हूँ उस पे. The next book, it's called Flaw, F-L-A-W, you know, Flaw. Basically, it's a flaw about flaw lobby, which is, there is a lobby in elite groups of India, you know, an elitist lobby, which is F for feminists, L for liberals, A for atheists, and W for wokes. Okay, and I'm very worried about them because they're the smartest, sneaky people. And I'm very worried because they will say, I'm right wing, मैं तो राम को मानता हूँ, कृष्ण को मानता हूँ, I'm this and that, टीका भी लगा लेंगे. They'll come inside you and दीमक की तरह से they will destroy you. So I'm very scared of them also. So, yeah, so I don't bother much about cancel culture. Yes, as long as you are not physically hurting somebody or you're not hurting somebody's bread and butter and dignity and reputation, credibility, I don't have the power to do that to anybody. People can do that to me. But as far as the films you spoke about, yes, now there also have two views about it. Since it's not a politically, to be on any political side, so I want to tell you something very honestly. And it's not got to do with these films. Wherever, in any field, wherever, there are always disruptors and innovators. Okay, people will do something different and something new. Like you started talking about saris and handloom and stuff like that, and temples and all. Now if somebody says, acha, she has got popularity, now I should also do it. Okay, they will also start and doing it. ठीक है, शुरू के एक दो लोगों को they will be successful. But everybody who tries to play like Sachin Tendulkar will never be successful. And what will happen, these imitators then ultimately end up destroying the credibility of that genre of product. This is what destroyed left system. Don't forget that. And we are making the same mistake because we Hindus, just like iPhone, when you buy it, there are some default apps you can't do anything about them. You can't even delete them, otherwise there will be no phone. It comes with the default 2-3 apps. Hindus also are born with 2-3 default apps.
Operating systems.
First, they don't even care that there is an enemy. Shatru bodh jisko kehte. They won't even know that there is somebody's mind. Arey nahi, acha hai. Ghar ke bade booढ़े hote na, old people. They say no, trust him, and ultimately they realize by the time it's a bit late. But once they realize that there is an enemy, then they want to use the same enemy's tactics and strategy, then they want to become like him. And that's why you see our modern time battles and wars, we have lost many. Not one. Every time we go like this, we come back. After Mopla, we were winning. And then Direct Action Day came. And Jawaharlal Nehru said, no, Jinnah keeps talking, he won't do anything. But he did it. Then he said we should also become like them. Now we don't want one country, we want two countries. That's exactly what happened. Direct Action Day, Jinnah, Muslim League, do you know that Jinnah was such a pro-Hindu liberal person? He just changed for politics. Rangila Rasool, he fought our case. For Rangila Rasool, even the Tribune case, he was a lawyer for Hindus. So Jinnahs realized that these Hindus have a problem. Okay. They will imitate your gambit. Whatever gambit you play, they will say, we have to be better at this gambit. You know? So what he did was, he said on 16th of August 1946, on the day of Badr during Ramadan, he announced direct action day, and he said, kill all Hindus, wipe them out to such an extent, it's an open speech, it's a recorded, we have the recording. He said, create so much of terror that after that, every Hindu leader says they want two nations. Okay? And then after the meeting, he told Soravadri and all these people, so he said, but you have gone, you have opened your cards in front of everybody. प्रभु जी रिकॉर्डेड बता रहा हूं आपको. तो उसने बोला, सुवारावद्री सेड कि बट यू हैव ओपनड योर कार्ड्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ एवरीवन. ही सेज ट्रस्ट मी, दे विल नॉट बिलीव इट. And that's exactly then the journalist went to Nehru ji and he said that Jinnah has announced this. He laughed and he said, do you really think that Jinnah can do something like that? And he did it. 20,000 people were killed in a couple of days, 2 days, 3 days. And then after that, they said, we'll also become like that. And now let's kill all Muslims in that area. They tried, but they couldn't. Then Gandhi ji came, then asked them to surrender. एक मैं यहां छोटा फिल्म की बात चली, एक एग्जाम्पल आपको मैं बताना चाहता हूं. I want to share this with you. Have you seen movie Gandhi? I'll tell you how leftists do their propaganda. Have you seen film Gandhi? I can guarantee 90% of people sitting over here or anywhere in India or the world, whatever they know about partition or Gandhi, they know through that. Correct? There's a very important scene in that. After that direct action day scene, Gandhiji is sitting and he's asking everybody to surrender their weapons, the guns and knives and everything, and everybody is blindly surrendering it. Then comes Om Puri. Remember Om Puri, the actor? He comes, he's a bit angry and all that. He says, no, I won't do it. Then Nehruji says, no, you have to do it. And ultimately he says, I respect Gandhi so much and blah, blah, blah. And he surrenders. Usme bhi Gandhi is a hero. But the truth, BBC has recorded. So I'm not saying Indian people. Okay, so forget it. Everybody trusts BBC. So let's go BBC. What BBC writes, what BBC has documented, they said that Gopal Patha went to Gandhi and he said, even if one mild nail has been used to save Hindu brothers and sisters, I won't even give you the tip of that nail. That's what Gopal Patha said. And in the film, how they've shown it? And don't forget, it was a government-sponsored this thing. Second example I'll give you, don't mind it, but because you don't know how Hindus are gullible and how stupid we are that everybody can make fool of ourselves. These days I've been reading, everybody is saying Congress government brought Mahabharat and they brought Ramayana and they brought Mahabharat. Everybody today calls himself in last 10 years, I'm Sanatani, I'm Dharmik, and Jai Shri Ram and this, and everybody has become super Hindu. Huh? No, not in, no. Yeah. But if you see a general outside of the people, outside world, everybody, people who I've never seen for 50 years who put even one tika, today put big tika, because it's fashionable, it's fine. When bell bottoms come in fashion, you do that. If tomorrow this government is not there, they will say, okay, say, Jai Akbar, people will start saying if it's fashionable and money is involved. Now, Mahabharat, let's take Mahabharat. We are making, have you heard the name of S.L. Bhairappa? One of the greatest living writers, nobody can dispute it. Even leftists don't dispute that. He has written a book called Parv. Okay? So he asked me to make that into a film. He called me, said, you do it. So we bought rights and we are making it now. So first we were calling it Parv. A lot of people were saying, don't call Parv, call it Mahabharat. So we'll think about that later, but we are making it. And that gave us access to all the versions. There are 11,000 versions, but right from Oriental. We are reading a lot, we are talking to a lot of experts of Mahabharata, real genuine experts, not today's experts, you know. कि बहती गंगा में हाथ धोने वाले नहीं. क्योंकि मुझे, I think a lot of people, them are not honest people, they're just doing it, and that is fine. आप मुझे बताइए, what was the age of Arjun and Krishna in Mahabharata, B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, which you have seen? They were 25, 30, good-looking young heroes. And what was the real age in Mahabharata? Huh?
56, I think, Arjun.
60. And Krishna was around 70. Correct? That is the documented Bhandarkar's Oriental, every scholar of Mahabharata. And please pardon me, even I didn't know before this. Everybody, every leftists have recorded that. After Pune ki, that lady who has written a lot of about all the characters. Leftists have recorded this, rightists, Sanskrit scholars, foreigners, everywhere you go in the world. And nobody had any objections till date. Nobody even knows this. Now imagine if you show Jesus Christ as a 13-year-old kid, or you show Buddha as a 16-year-old child, or you show Muhammad Sahib as a 13, 14-year-old boy, will anybody tolerate that? We have been tolerating the distortion of our history. They changed a matured, wise, experienced Arjun to a young boy Arjun, and he started looking like he doesn't know, he's confused. Arjun was not confused in Mahabharata. He was asking larger questions which are like beyond human understanding. But today Arjun is portrayed as, you see any play, a young boy will play that role and he's confused. Acha mujhe pata nahi hai, bataiye Guruji main kya karu. No, it wasn't that relationship. They were friends. So, like this, so many imagery and everything has been subliminally transferred into our mind. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to correct it. I don't see Gandhi as a saint. I see Gandhi as a politician. I'll show him as a politician. There's nothing wrong in it. I'll show... Nehru was not a statesman. He was a pure, hardcore politician whose only objective, like a Coca-Cola CEO, was that everybody should buy my product. Nothing wrong with it. He wanted Congress to win. He was doing everything which has to be done to win, make Congress win. Like today's governments, in whichever where, or central government, isn't our government saying 400 chahiye is bar, and they are doing everything to win that. So that is the nature of politics. But you and I are not politicians. We are not in the vote bank market. So we have to be honest to our craft and our art.
Talking about that, that brings me to my next question. Do you feel that all art is increasingly getting politicized now, whether it is dance, whether it is music, whether it is writing, whether it is filmmaking? I mean, not talking in the sense of taking sides. I am saying that pure art, pure creativity is somewhere getting waylaid by political narratives. Do you feel that? And if yes, then what is the way out? I mean, how do we encourage pure creativity?
Art is becoming political or not, but I know politics is becoming very artistic. We are now today in 2023 we are at, I think, most challenging time of Indian history, because two things are happening in this country. Lots of things are happening which experts can tell. I can just tell you about things which I understand. Number one, we are at such a growth level, at a level of development from where either we can create wonders, or we can just lose the momentum. So right now, if you ask me as a citizen, I think our top priority should be to let this momentum go and contribute as much. But अभी ताली बजाने की बात नहीं आई. अभी एक thought है. But if you look at the history of the world, history of humanity, you read 5,000 years of history, and you see why civilizations perished. Why societies perished? Why a very rich Roman Empire perished, or Ottoman Empire perished, or any Mongols ruled most of the world at that time. Why did they perish? Why Mughals perished? Why colonials perished? The reason is, it's my research, my understanding. I am not saying it's the most authentic. Please see it as just an alternate point of view. But it's very correct. Just let me warn you that when you run only after development or growth of a society, that every citizen should say, I'm doing economically well, the biggest price you have to pay is the soul of the society, which is art and culture. And with my own eyes, I have seen a very, very sharp decline of Indian art, literature, and aesthetics in last 10 years. I have never seen such economic growth And I have never seen such cultural and artistic growth in this country. I do this experiment everywhere. I can do it now. Okay? Till say 2010, I mean, or थोड़ा और पहले चले, up to 2010, I would say decades में बांटते हैं. Almost everywhere you ask people, they knew at least 5 genuine, authentic Indian singers. If you ask people 5 poets, they couldn't say 5, they would say 2, 3 poets, क्योंकि तब थे. You could say these are the 5 greatest dancers of contemporary India. I'm saying contemporary, पुरानी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. You could say these are the 5 genuine film directors from India. These are the 5 genuine artists. आपको नाम पता था. आज today whatever artist name you know, I guarantee all those names are before 2010. एम एफ हुसैन पता होगा, ऐसे आपको रजा पता होगा, ऐसे 4-5 नाम पता होंगे. आज के किस आर्टिस्ट का नाम आप जानते हैं? जबकि इतनी पब्लिसिटी है, so much of social media, so much of PR, social media machine, because there is no genuine product. So what we did in this process, and it's not that it's happening in India, it's happening in lots of countries, but I respect Europe because they have allocated a huge budgets to protect their art and culture. That's why if you go to Europe, everywhere people are singing and playing music or writing poetry. They promote so much of art. We, today in the name of music, all you have is Bollywood music. And that is also Punjabi style Bhangra music. And why are you blaming? It's first, governments have nothing to do with it. Tell me, when your child's birthday is there, not in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, 2 places are still left out, what do you play? Bollywood films, some music. If there's a Janeo, you play that. If there is a professional corporate meeting, at the end, everybody is dancing to that. We have converted socializing to only party, drinking Bollywood music and no substance. Today we have collectively, there is no art and culture which India can showcase to the world. Name one and I will become your cultural slave for life. Name one. Seriously. There's nothing. Second loss, we have a huge loss. I am telling you, not like an elderly person that what is wrong with you, but I'm just warning you, and these are the things you must think about it. And we have a great leadership, great people who want to do great things, but the thing is they are so focused on this. Because art and culture was always a responsibility of the society. अपने बच्चे को कढ़ाई सिखाओ, डांस सिखाओ, teach your child classical music was parents' responsibility and school's responsibility. When I was studying, there was no school worth its salt in this country, Christian, this, that, where there was no Saraswati's statue. Today, there is no Saraswati statue. Even in people's house, every house, I can vouch for Brahmin houses, I don't know about other, but every single house used to have one Saraswati statue. Today, you have Durga and Lakshmi statue, no Saraswati statue. We have forgotten. We are so intoxicated with this new growth and flyovers and bullet trains and metros and getting name in the world, which is so important, that we thought that art and culture is also government's responsibility. I must have attended 100-150 literature festivals in last 10 years. This is the first time we are talking about cinema, art, literature. Every literature festival is a political festival. Who is responsible for this? Second thing is, there was a media, and the media used to address some common citizens' problems. मैं कल ही बता रहा था चंडीगढ़ में in a speech that 10 years ago when I moved to Bombay from Delhi, I used to hate reading, in 1990 I used to hate reading Times of India because they had so much of local news only about the city. First page and second and last page, everything else was about Bombay city. And I came from Delhi, I knew nothing about Bombay, where is Bhandup or Bhayandar and all. So I was least interested. And today if you open Times of India, there is no news about Bombay, there is news about everything else. Right? Media. So we have the world's most pathetic media in this country. Okay? Most pathetic. आपकी बात नहीं, मैं television की बात कर रहा हूँ. We have people who read from teleprompter. Look at our understanding. How we understand, how your children understand, ask any child today, he will recognize him as media, he will recognize some anchor of TV as media. And who are these journalists? People who don't even know what they are going to say after 30 seconds. They read from a teleprompter. These are anchors. They are not journalists. But they have acquired the role of journalists. Who has acquired the role of an artist? The person who runs the art gallery. Who has taken the responsibility of showcasing Indian cinema? You all know that. This is the problem. To protect without protecting your art and culture, we are destroyed. No growth. Many empires, the biggest of the economies have fallen like this because that is the soul if you won't protect it. And that's what I'm trying to do, make people aware with my work that how important, and Delhi Files, we are trying to do something about art and culture.
Thank you so much. Now I have 15 minutes, I'll open the floor for questions. I have just one request. Just ask questions, do not make...
हेलो शीला दिस साइड।
आपकी कंपनी से फोन लिया था, ये ऑन नहीं हो रहा है।
गलती से मिस्टेक। चुप रहे। बोला। आप एक काम कीजिए, अपना अकाउंट नंबर भेजिए, पैसा आपके अकाउंट में रिफंड हो जाएगा।
अभी भेजता हूँ सिस्टर। भाई साहब, आपने सही वेबसाइट से फोन नंबर निकाल कर कॉल किया या जो पहले मिला उस पे लगा दिया? यूपीआई कहता है किसी भी कंपनी से संपर्क करना हो तो उनके आधिकारिक वेबसाइट पे जाइए और करिए। अपने पैसों का ख्याल खुद रखिए, इनका मैं रखता हूँ। लाओ फोन रख वरना आंखें निकाल कर। आप भी ये वीडियो शेयर कीजिए और अपने आस पास के भोले को बचाइए।
जब आप घर बनवाते हैं तब आप एक भरोसेमंद कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बुलाते हैं। वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर घर आके आपको बड़े हसीन सपने दिखाते हैं। इतने हसीन सपने देख आप अंदर ही अंदर खुश हो जाते हैं। अंदर ही अंदर खुश होकर आप उन्हें एडवांस पकड़ाते हैं। एडवांस मिलने के बाद वो अपने असली रंग दिखाते हैं। पूरी पेमेंट लेकर भी काम आधा अधूरा छोड़ जाता है। तो भाई साहब, अपने ड्रीम होम को परफेक्ट बनाइए, सीधा हिप्पो होम्स आइए। यहां मिलेंगे आपको 100 से ज्यादा ट्रस्टेड एक्सपर्ट्स। हिप्पो होम्स, अब घर बनाना सिंपल है।
And to do research of Kashmir files in Europe and US, most of the senators and congressmen and member of parliaments or journalists, everybody used to tell me that, see, whatever you say, but India has illegally occupied an Islamic land. That was the general perception about it, and nobody had done to change that perception. But now if I go, even if you go, anybody, so I met the same, who's chairman of Indian caucus. We had met him when we were doing research, and I met him recently. And now they say, oh God, I mean, why Indian government never created awareness about this, that Kashmir has always been an integral part of India. Can you believe it? Like Palestine. Everybody thinks Palestine is an original country, but you know, there was no Palestine before 1945, 46, 47, kab bana tho? 60s, huh? 48, sorry. There was nothing like that. So, but even everybody in the world believes that Israel and Palestine are two different places. So how you project yourself? So we are trying to use our films to as soft power of India to showcase them. I am single, so whatever best I can do, I can do. Yeah.
Asking something? Vivekji, I remember when your first write-up, means my first introduction to you was about your article on trolls and the way you
article on
trolls and the way you defended trolls, that they are not just trolls, they are the alternative voices that you, and I think it was 2013 or something. But that time, you know, still the website as a media platform was emerging. Today, because I come from a classical print media format where still there is a credibility, some form of credibility. Shabda Pramanya is still a very important thing in popular Indian mindset. From there to now, you know, I ask a journalist or students of journalism, what is your primary source of news? And the first response is Instagram. So, no, but largely now the current phase of student, it is Instagram. So, as a person who has traveled this journey from various platforms, even in, for example, in cinematic expression, it is the OTT that has, captured the space. How do you see this technology playing the role in shaping the narratives, and what kind of cancel culture or rather I would say monopolization of narratives that is emerging through technology? How do you see this?
Yeah, I remember that article. I had written many years back article about smart trolls, and I had justified trolls, defended them, and I said trolls actually are alternate voice. It's like you are sitting and you are weirdly dressed and somebody makes a joke about it. It makes you conscious and you think about it and you change your dressing and don't look weird anymore, which is the right thing to do. And so, but at that time, social media had just come, this is before 2014. So it had just come and there were independent voices. Somebody was doing sarcasm on cricket, somebody was doing on politics, somebody on religion, somebody on that. So all those things were there. But one thing people won't know, you just cannot believe it, that Twitter, the most toxic place, every evening for 5-6 hours, till late 2-3, evening 7 o'clock onwards, it used to be the best place in the world for music, poetry, artistic talk, creative discussions, a whole lot of wonderful things. That all is gone because now it has been taken over by media and politicians, the most toxic people in the world. And so if you have Trump on one side, you have Putin on one side, then you have Mao on one side, then all kinds of countries trying to take this and influence your mind. The biggest challenge for them and for us is this technology is very good also. Okay, but this technology, because it's so unregulated, that we don't know what to do with it, and when human minds don't know what to do with something, they end up using it for destructive ways. There is a wonderful film, I recommend every human being must watch. It's called Gods Must Be Crazy. Have you seen it? Okay, so people who don't know, for their benefit, I'll just tell you that in Africa there is a small tribe, they don't even have a language. They are so uncivilized. And they live happily, beautifully, they don't possess anything, they don't wear clothes, they have no problems. I can raise your child, you can raise my child, it's a nice commune. And one day from America, plane flies, 2 corporate executives drinking Coke and all that, and one of them, it's a low altitude aircraft, and one of them finishes the small Coke bottle. Earlier there used to be smaller Coke bottle. He finishes it and just throws it in the air, and it falls in that village. First, they don't know what it is. Okay, then slowly they find different utilities of that bottle. They start making food, they start breaking wood, then they find 1 million, they start digging holes with that. Then everybody realizes something of utility, something can be done with this. Then everybody wants to possess it. Okay, and everybody wants to possess, and possession has a great quality. It has competition, then it has jealousy, then you want to destroy the other party. It takes up then 2 tribes, it becomes 2 tribes, then tribals want to fight with each other. And then one most stupid idiot, he realizes that at the core, the problem is this bottle, and he says, I'll go and throw this bottle at the end of the world. And he never finds end of the world, and they have to live with all the bad qualities of human beings. It's a very, very metaphorical and so funny. You just can't imagine. Every second you will fall off your chair laughing. So, and that's exactly what is happening. We don't know what to do with social media. We don't know how to use it. Now, एक Hindu philosophy में concept है, there are 3 stages. There are 3 levels of this world. One is drashya, something is happening. Okay, I am talking right now, So I am Drash, somebody else will come, they will become Drash. And there is Darshak. Okay, and when the Darshak can see Darshak and Drash together, you become Drishta. जिसको बोलते हैं seer English में, S-E-E-R, seer. Then you become seer. पर आज भी टेक्नोलॉजी क्या हो गया है कि दर्शक has become दृश्य और दृश्य has become, हम दर्शक have become दृश्य. Everybody is a दृश्य themselves, and we don't know what to do with this Coke bottle, so we have to find the end of the world and try and throw it somewhere. But social media cancel our troll, आप कह रहे थे. See, 90% of the trolls are all organized trolls. They work for somebody. If something is happening, when my last film Vaccine War was releasing, around that time something happened and some Bollywood super duper stars film also came and all that. And then everybody was attacking me from cinematic point of view. They were attacking my daughter and this and that. When both the films faded away, now political trolls come in and all those kind of things. But you have to create the skill how to deal with trolls and these kind of things. It's a very bad world, and please don't be on social media if you can.
Only one more question, please. It's time is up. Only one more question. Jamna.
Yeah. So thank you
Okay,
for this
I'll-
session. And do you have any idea to show
Where-
the last
Oh,
200
no, I
years
saw
of...
her standing, so.
Okay.
We'll take. No, yeah.
Do you have any idea to show the last 200 years of Tamil Nadu's Dravidian...
Yeah, ma'am, I'm a
This Dravidian files is much needed here.
see, See, when I met Buddha in a traffic jam, my shoulder was broken. When I made Tashkent files, I still have 2 or 3 cases going on. So there were some 15, 14 legal attacks on me cases. By Kashmir files, I didn't even care about physical attack or legal attacks, but then there was a different kind of attack and fatwas and all that. And for last 1.5 years, I haven't traveled with my children and wife. I mean, we don't travel in the same car, nothing. I don't go out. I used to see one film every week in theaters. I haven't gone to theaters in 1.5 years. I don't go to restaurants. I can't go anywhere. A lot of places I can't go to. So now with Delhi files, I exactly know what is going to happen. मरवाना ही चाहते हो क्या? खत्म हो जाए. Let somebody else do it.
Yeah, Jamna.
But enough, yeah. I don't want to get involved in Ambedkar versus any other politics.
Yeah.
पर मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ. I want to tell you something. Just half a second. It's very important. I tell you, and I've been wanting to talk about it. At least. Maybe I'm a bad guy, but a conversation must start with this. Everybody talks about hate against somebody. Okay? What is hate? When I say you should hate your mother or your father or your friend, that is hate. Okay? But if my behavior evokes hate against me, that's not hate. Hate is when you provoke somebody to feel hatred towards something or somebody, that is hate. I have been going to Nagpur for a very long time, and I never saw it. Recently, 1 month ago, I was in Nagpur. I was going for research to Sevagram, to Gandhi Ashram. So my assistants were with me. So I asked this guy, तुम लोग जाके ये क्यों नहीं जाते हो? Go and see Ambedkar's where he became Bodh and his bhumi, क्या बोलते हैं? बौद्ध भूमि, चैत्य भूमि है. हाँ, नहीं, चैत्य नहीं. Diksha Bhumi, sorry. Where he took Diksha. Diksha Bhumi. And I have been there many times. Believe me, मैं कई बार तो government की तरफ से भी गया हूँ, लोग भी ले गए. I have been there. I posted a lot in praise of that place because you go inside and you read wonderful documents. I have written a lot about it. My assistant sent me, who's a apolitical person actually. His department is not even writing and research. His job is just to record on the camera. So most apolitical, maybe he abuses me after recording. I don't know. So because these are paid people. So from there, he said, have you ever been there? I said, why? He said, I've never seen such a hateful place in my life. I said, why? He sent me 22 vows of Ambedkarji, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, from there to me. I posted it same day on social media. Please do me a favor, go after this and read those vows. It says, it will provoke you to hate Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, hate every Brahmin. It uses the word hate. In fact, instead of saying that these people should be destroyed from the world, it has been paraphrased in little different language. But whose greatness is it? People who accepted it, and still we call him the author of our constitution. Those people. It is their greatness. Because Patel also wrote the constitution. There were 15 or 16 women who also wrote that constitution. Nobody, because of a failed communist education system, nobody knows about them. Right? So you must understand, before saying that Hindus are this and that, one should understand people who hate us and write it in the plaque. Right at the entrance of Diksha, if I sometimes ask if Buddha were reborn, and if he has to read those 22 vows, what would he say? Imagine, Buddha will be the first person to say this is wrong, this is sin. But we give him the highest place. There is no prime minister ever, there will be no prime minister ever in the future who will be ever be able to say one word against this. I am saying it, you try and say it. Nobody can say it, because it's not a problem with Hindus or Brahmins and Dalits. It's the problem with this divisive politics which is being done around caste. I think today's India is trying to move away from that. Caste is where fathers have done some sin and a child is trying to get away from that. Give him that space. Give him that respect, that dignity, that I am trying to change my past, I am trying to re-engineer my destiny and my future. You give them that respect all over the world. Instead of that, we are always abused and shamed in the world, and I am absolutely against it. These people who are doing it, they are the first to be cancelled.
Jamna, last question, and then we'll conclude.
I'm sorry I extended the time, but it was important to tell you this.
I see two very powerful people sitting there. I'm talking about in terms of media influence. As a mother and as a grandmother, I have one serious concern. What can you people do to ensure that, children will not listen to us. They prefer to get advice through social media, Instagram, Twitter. And so what can you people, like you are a very powerful media person, sense that you make beautiful films which come out with the truth. Not come out with something which takes our children and grandchildren back to the roots, where where we have failed to instill that sort of a upbringing that we had, the kind of peace we feel, the contentment.
See, I understood what you're saying, but then taking your children to your ancestral home, you cannot outsource that job. You have to do it. How can I do it?
I have
Nobody in this world can do it.
What about people who don't have an ancestral home? See, that is a practical reality of people living in cities.
See, even a banyan tree also has roots, and a small plant also has roots, you know, finding the roots. And what are roots, first of all? If you want to, your child, like in America, they show Mahabharata serial all the time, then you're showing a banyan tree's child, you're showing the roots of a people tree. You know, you are showing wrong Mahabharata. Every incident you shown in that is so hilarious. I mean, it's like a satire on Mahabharata. It's so bad and pathetically done, but we like it because there has never been any Mahabharata on TV. So we say whatever it is, it's wonderful. It's like somebody going to just one temple, he will do everything, he'll buy new clothes and everything, but if you go every day, you realize that yes, temple doesn't mean that you ignore the thugs sitting outside. You have to look at things in completeness. So similarly, children is parents' responsibility. I cannot be responsible for your child. All I can do is, I can show him with my craft and art and skill.
Exactly, that is exactly what
But one thing you can do, we did 25 years ago, cut the bloody TV from your house. All kinds of TV, just don't have TV. Tell me something, let's end it on a good thought. Tell me something, if I ask you to eat something which is bad for your body, if you have diabetes, do you eat sugar? No, no.
If I know and if I understand.
Yeah, if you know, if you have it, if your child has a problem who doesn't understand, as a mother, will you let him, suppose he is allergic to, say, peanuts, will you let him eat peanuts? No. Correct? Why do you think mind is not part of your body? Listen to me first. Why do you think mind is not part of your body? You don't let food, you consume toxic food in your stomach, but even toxic thoughts, ideas, everything in them, any kind of junk you can put in your body. Do you keep eating food throughout the day? No. But you keep consuming toxic food for your mind throughout the day. That is your problem. You are lazy, you have subscribed to Netflix, you are watching TV, you have given access to your children to this thing, then you can't complain. So,
Mr.
think like this.
That was not my...
Jamna, I think we can take it from here. The time
We'll
is
talk
up and
offline.
we have
We'll
other
talk.
sessions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vivek. As always, it was a pleasure to be in conversation
Thank you,
with you.
Shefali.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bharatji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sri Vivek Agnihotri ji. May I now request Sri Jai Kishan Jhaved, founder of Siddhartha Knowledge Foundation and founder of SMART, our sponsor for this event, to honor Sri Vivek Agnihotri ji. Thank you, Sri Vivek Agnihotri ji. It was a wonderful walkthrough and you gave us a lot of insight into the making of the movie. And at the end, it was also like an advice from a life. Someone who has 2 decades of experience in research on media and academics. Shri Pradeep Bhandari, the founder of Jan Ki Baat, a psophologist, someone who keeps telling us about the election and an election commentator, a political commentator. And with them in conversation is Shri Karthik Gopinath. Shri Karthik Gopinath is a former model, a lawyer, a political analyst, and Tamil Nadu Bharatiya Janata Party State Vice President of Social Media Cell. With them in conversation is Hridaya Ramani, journalist from Commune. May I request the members of the audience to take your seat, please? Our panelists are ready. I request the members of the audience to please take your seats.
So, Rudya?
Namaste everyone, Ram Ram. So the topic for this session is media narratives in modern Bharat. And before we begin, I would like to tell Prafullah sir that in Tamil Nadu, the commune is not considered as RSS's mouthpiece and not organizer. So that is how the narrative is set here. Getting down to the questions, how do you think media has changed in the last 10 years? The disgruntled leftist media, who were once the gatekeepers of information, are now sad that their narratives don't sell. What are the changes you're seeing over the past 10 years? Opening remarks from all of you, please.
Thank you, Rubia. See, frankly speaking, RSS has never claimed organizer to be mouthpiece and definitely not commune to be the mouthpiece. It's the people who believe in the concept of mouthpiece has branded others as mouthpiece. Mouthpiece are the only documents which are given by the General Secretary of the Communist Party to the cadre. Not even once in last 11-12 years since I have been editor of Organizer, not even once my editorial policy or editorial has been dictated by either RSS Sarasangachalak or Sarkareva. It is the others who wanted us to bracket as mouthpiece simply because when they didn't want alternate point of view to exist. So if you can't kill a person but can kill a dog, call him a dog and then kill. Simple. That has been the left strategy. They are frustrated now because these alternative voices are coming up in such a large extent that they are now speaking or telling the stories which were not allowed to tell earlier. Now many people ask me, how do you see Commune, for example, or Swaraj or many other such. I say I am really happy because now it is not at one point, when the partition took place, we spoke about the Hindu refugees from Pakistan and faced the censorship. The first ever censorship in independent India was imposed on Organizer. First amendment came because of that. Nobody spoke about, nobody called Nehru a dictatorial, curbing media, press freedom for this. But last 10 years, we are seeing this debate, especially in international media, about, freedom of press has gone down, India's, number in the free press index has gone down. Really? I think in last 10 years, first time ever, I'm seeing a scenario where there are open government or prime minister bashers roaming around openly. If there is at all, we have lost some kind of media freedom, either with the help of either excess use of money through advertisement or literally curbing voices with the hard hand. It is at the state level. Here I will not quote about the DMK government for the obvious reasons. Gopinath can. But in Kerala, if you take the cases, last year there are at least 12 journalists or social media activists. If you take the case of Bengal, if you take the case of earlier government in Maharashtra, you will find many more cases where you can't even question the existing government. Unfortunately, nobody makes narrative out of it. That is the difference. The social media has given a lot of space to those alternate voices. That is the frustration. People are now coming out openly, like Vivek was talking about the film. It is true about media also. There are many voices. We have Abhas here somewhere, and then he has written a book in 2018 called Ex-Communist or Ex-Marxist Manifesto. So now people have started coming. There are many social media handles who are calling themselves ex-seculars. The secular, which was a matter of pride maybe 10-15 years ago, has become a virtual abused now because it stood for the hypocrisy that we have seen in Indian politics and intelligentsia. It is true with media also. So I think media is in a transition phase. We are opening up to global reality. We are standing up for what we are as a society. We are ready to tell our own story in our own words. We are not seeking recognition from the West. So, but I see it in transition. You know, that the real fight that is going to happen in next few decades is perhaps over who is controlling the data and technology. That is going to be the real fight. That is my understanding.
Thank you so much. Let me begin by saying Jai Shri Ram. That's the change which you see in the media which has happened and in the populace which has happened, because 10 years back, if somebody from the mainstream media would say Jai Shri Ram on air or would say it on a stage, then it will be looked from a point of view of questioning. See, I am convinced of this fact, and I completely agree with Prafulji, because we've debated a lot on television, on panels, that India today is seeing a media which has moved from a dictatorial monopoly to a democratic, decentralized space where every voice with great amount of content and value will be heard. India has moved away from a media which believed in appeasement and communal narrative to a place where developmental narrative and Sanatani narrative has also got its place. India has moved away from a place where there were gatekeepers in order to decide who should actually be a journalist and who should not be a journalist, to a scenario where anybody who believes in the growth of country, who believes in the Sanatani values of this great country, can speak up. So what has happened is that media was under the control of few, and now it has actually been a scenario, particularly with the information decentralization which has taken place, that a lot of people like Karthik and many have come up with the alternate point of view, or I would say the right point of view. Now, when that happens, a lot of false and fake narratives have been busted. Say, for example, the fake narrative of communism. We've been taught, I grew up in the 90s, that communal politics in this country started in the early 90s. But the truth of the matter is that the communal politics in this country started from the era of Jawaharlal Nehru, when he decided to follow a policy where the state has to be distant from the religion, but only one religion, which was the Hindu religion, and follow secularism as a tenet where appeasement was practiced in the garb of secularism. Now, today you see people questioning that. I am speaking this from a land which taught you that Dravidism is something which is anti-religion and anti-center. But now you see voices coming up in the state which say that Tamil Nadu is also as Sanatani as anybody else. I can tell you that, and why am I seeing this change? When I was in Ayodhya, and I was there after the Pran Pratishtha, Prafulji was also there, and I stayed there for 3 days. I got people from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Bengal. I was speaking to all of them, and I saw that Prabhu Sri Ram connected everybody. A person from Tamil Nadu was also as connected to Ram as a person from Andhra was, a person from Bihar was, a person from Bengal was. And we were taught that Ram is something which is only to do with the Asta of the Hindi heartland. So all these fake narratives have been busted, and I'll tell you why. I have come to this conclusion, Prafulji, and this is something which I would say, as somebody who's in the last 9 years dwelled a lot into primary data, particularly to do with elections and politics, that leftists per se are individuals who speak great English. They sell mediocrity as meritocracy, and then they make you believe that that mediocrity is actually true. Now, you have individuals who have access to primary data on any field, whether it is media, whether it is film, whether it is politics, and all of them are questioning their narrative. And simple example, whether it is in psephology, I've seen frauds who never had access to any primary data. I have come across journalists who do not come prepared with their debate, who debate on farmer protests, but they do not know exactly what the full form of MSP is. So all of this is being now questioned in social media. Nobody today can claim that he's forming the narrative of this country. Earlier, the issue was that the media thought that who should be the prime minister and who should not be the prime minister would be decided by few channels in Noida. Now, that is no longer the scenario. Whatever the mainstream channels can run want to run, that cannot be against the will of the people of the country. So what has happened is that for the first time in this country, you have a Prime Minister who's become a full-time Sanatani Prime Minister, not because of the media, but despite of the media. So when that has taken place, the media has to adjust itself on understanding that it has to only show what the people of the country are thinking, no longer in order to impose their opinion of what they think should be the people of India thinking. So now it doesn't happen that the editor will say, oh, this should be what the people are thinking. No, the editor has to take the feedback, and whatever is the ground pulse, whether it is from the ground or the social media, the editor has to only reflect that. That is what has changed. So if I ask you that today we are for the first time after 70 years living in a truly democratic spirit and democratic mind space. And there are few YouTubers who live in Germany who've never visited this land, who only believe in recording a video from YouTube studio in Germany and never travel to the country, say that this country is going dictatorial. I ask them that if that tenet and logic is applied, then that tenet and logic should be applied in places like West Bengal, where I am seeing Sandesh Kali, and not even once journalist from the Bengal who is not speaking the narrative that the state government wants to speak to is not filed an FIR. So if true dictatorial media is run in this country, it is run by respected state governments, because the business model of state-run channels are such that it cannot thrive without state government advertising. So if you want to speak about truly democratic individuals at the state government level, it will be those on the social media. So if I look at it, I completely second what Prafulji said, that I am seeing that today, if you have content, if you have primary research, you are no longer an individual who will be stopped by the gatekeepers in any field. So that is where the frustration is, that the have-nots who had mediocrity in their mind, who had secondary research in their mind, are now being truly called out by those who have credibility and content and primary research.
Welcome to all. Welcome to my panelists, co-panelists. Jai Shri Ram from a Chennai wala. That is the first big change. That is the first big change that has occurred in media. And see, if I have to point to finer details, they've been talking about the macro details, I'll point to the finer details, the ones that the media personnel will miss the most. It's traveling with the Prime Minister's entourage, having costly champagnes, tasting the best wines, and staying in the topmost hotels in the world at public exchequer's cost. That is the biggest media change that has occurred. It has been cancelled out for all the top journalists who took pride in doing that. And the second, fascist thing the current government has done is they've taken away the right to live telecast all the terrorist shootings, so that, terrorists can take cue from, okay, special forces are landing here, chalo, we will change our strategies. That democratic right has been taken away by the BJP government. That is yet another change that has happened. And so much so that the mainstream media has become so outdated that all the top names that you have, they have individual YouTube channels competing with us. All the top channels, they have their own YouTube channels, because they know for a fact that the size of the viewership, or the size of the watch screen is shrinking. It's now shrunk to the size of a mobile phone, and data points towards interesting trends, very interesting trends and healthy trends, which can kick away the gatekeepers. You don't need a gatekeeper. There is no more entry-level barriers. So democracy is about individuals. It's about individual consensus and not institutional consensus. The major change that has occurred in the last 10 years is it's about individual consensus and no more about institutional consensus at Noida or Delhi or top boardrooms of all these media organizations. So anybody with the will and the right intention can start pushing narratives. So that is the biggest thing that has happened. And I believe that with 30 crore Twitter accounts and roughly 50 crore Instagram and Facebook accounts, India leads the world. So roughly $1.45 billion is the advertisement cost in these platforms last year, $1.45 billion, which points out to the fact that people are putting their money where the eyeballs are. And people are putting their money where the eyeballs are, and so politicians will start taking up this space. Political narrative will be set in this space. So no more there is any need for these big institutions to tell us what is needed. data and current events are being personalized according to choices. So this is a very welcome change in current scenario, and I think I've been a beneficiary of it. I run a YouTube channel, and then of course I got into the party. So I understood one thing, that you don't have to depend on these gatekeepers anymore, which is a welcome change. And I'm sure as the show progresses, we will be pointing towards details, how social media narratives are very important in current day trends.
Thank you so much for that. You all mentioned social media. So last year in September, we had this watershed, do we call it watershed? Udayanidi's talents eradicate Sanatan Dharma remarks. Now this video was clipped and posted on Twitter by an anonymous account, and slowly it picked up, and Commune also created an article on that. That also, it was shared widely. The video was subtitled and it reached the north. Do you think this, they eradicate those remarks had an impact on the Hindi belt elections? And if they did, will the current narrative, that is the tax devolution charges and on the farmer protests and things happening, will they have an effect on the upcoming elections?
Pradeep is the right person perhaps to talk about this, but what I can tell you for sure, because when we first saw that an organizer did a cover story on Sanatan Dharma controversy, and suddenly it became a big news all over. I don't know what will happen to Tamil Nadu politics and DMK. Congress definitely is on the back foot, because Congress is finding it difficult to continue with this dotted alliance after Sanatan Dharma remarks, because everywhere Congress is being questioned on this. And, for their misfortune, Kharge's son came out in support, and Karnataka also started resonating the same tone. So it again connected with not just, Udayanidhi, but Kharge dynasty and the Gandhi dynasty. So the dynastic politics and their anti-Sanatana stand, that also narrative got pushed somewhere in the... So what has happened, Rudya, because of this, social media thing is, narratives are all about stories. So you tell certain stories in a particular fashion, and then you establish them as so-called mainstream, right? What used to happen, that the stories about India or political correctness about the stories always used to be from a prism that was guided by the left liberal ideological thing. So it's fine if you are mocking or abusing, Hindu sentiments, but that was considered as liberal. But in the same breath, because liberal has to be secular, so everybody who is a liberal, secular and intellectual cannot have the same rule for any other religious sentiment. That had changed drastically. And if this trend continues, you are asking me for 2024, I think, yes, Sanatan Dharma negatively will definitely have an impact on India Alliance, but at the same time, I think Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha will positively have impact on the... So it is a kind of, mix of both that is going to decide the outcome of 2024.
So will these farmer protests also have an impact?
I don't think it has exhausted as an ammunition, I believe. Whatever impact is there, it is going to be in Punjab or some parts of Haryana. Uttar Pradesh, I think the western part is largely out of this agitation mode now. Nobody is standing with tickets for this. Rest of the places where already anti-BJP space is there may be some regional parties who will try to, instigate in the name of farmers' protest. But, all over, if you think as a Lok Sabha election, I see a very I think this is a last effort by the entire alliance of forces. I'm not talking about just the India alliance. India alliance is just the political, expression of it. I'm talking about the global forces, ideological forces that have come against rising Bharat. I think this is the last ditch that they are making just before elections, such somehow some form of violence will actually have. But I personally believe that it will be a wishful thinking. So, Pradeep?
So let me, Prafulji highlighted a lot of points. Let me answer your question as straight as possible. Do I see a rise of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Tamil Nadu, and do I see a counter-polarization taking place because of Udayanidhi Stalin's statement and Congress suffering massively? The answer to both of them is yes. And I do not see any of these as my opinion. I say it as pure facts. And I'll give you basic examples. See, before coming here, the last week, I was in Tamil Nadu for at least 3 to 4 days. And I traversed to different parts of Tamil Nadu. I traversed to Tenkasi, I traversed to Coimbatore, I was in South Chennai. What I could see as a marked difference this time vis-a-vis 2019 is last time I was seeing a hate for the Bharatiya Janata Party and non-acceptance for the BJP in 2019. Right now, I am seeing individuals coming across openly and saying that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has done good for the country. Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha is a huge thing. I have come across women who've told me that when 22nd January Pran Pratishtha took place, in their villages they had lit diyas, and they're all ladies in interior parts of Tamil Nadu. I see an acceptance for Annamalai happening gradually in different parts of Tamil Nadu. So the barrier which was there in the Dravidian politics, where anybody from center was looked as somebody who's a Hindi heartland person, somebody against the Dravidian culture, that has been broken by the Prime Minister. And this is where I see a party which was a 3% vote share will be doing significantly well this time. And you will see that because the psyche and that barrier has changed. See, politics is always a 10-year journey. So what happens tomorrow, I don't know, but definitely that has changed. Now, with respect to the Congress, see, the Congress party today is no longer, you need to understand in this, I completely second with Prafulji, is a front of forces which believe that ultimately this country should not be governed forward by accepting Sanatan. Rahul Gandhi today is the poster boy, and if you see his speeches, understand entire methodology with Congress is working, it's gone to the extreme far left. Now Congress got 52 seats last time. And out of those 52 seats, 23 seats came from Punjab and Kerala. This time Congress is no longer the primary party in Punjab. So with respect to the farmer protest, there is nothing for the BJP to lose because BJP was not the primary party in Punjab. Whatever happens, again, if the AAP does or the Congress loses, it's for the Congress to lose. Imagine the scenario of Congress that a seat like Bharuch, which belonged to Ahmed Patel for more than 3.5–4 decades, that it has outsourced to the Aam Aadmi Party. So Congress party in 2024 might end up seeing its worst performance. In fact, in Rai Bareli, the fact that Sonia Gandhi contests from a Rajya Sabha seat, because I have travelled there and can tell you from the ground that for even Rai Bareli, people want Narendra Modi's development, and the last 3 elections in Rai Bareli, Sonia Gandhi and Congress's vote share is reduced by 7–8%. 2009 it was 70% plus, 2014 it was 60 something, and 2019 elections was 52–53. So you will see that decline. So yes, and you are not living in an era in this country where, say, Udayanidhi Stalin gives a statement in Tamil Nadu, it will not have an effect in other parts. India today, when information decentralization with every video reaching a WhatsApp is connected. So if you think that Udayanidhi Stalin, ridicules the Sanatan Dharma and the Congress party does not condemn it and still continues to be in that alliance, it will definitely affect. You saw Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, where despite all the hua, what happened to the Congress party? In all the 3 elections, it was wiped out. In fact, even in tribal belts of Bastar, where the Congress did not lose, even in 2013 and 18 when Raman Singh was there, this time the BJP could get votes. So you are seeing at this moment in now to 2024, all these statements definitely affecting, but you are seeing a huge surge of Sanatan, and as the Ayodhya Ram Mandir has connected with the hearts of the people, and this change you will see in May when the results will come up, because people are saying कि ये जो सोचा था हमने कभी हो ही नहीं सकता और ये हो गया है. This is something which is completely different. So I would rate this even above economic development, because this is to do with the core of who we are. That's what I can say.
Hridaya, your question was, how is the social media narrative going to be different with respect to these two incidents? One is the farmer protest, and if we are so positive that it is because of Sanatana Dharma narrative of Udayanidhi Stalin that we were able to win the North Indian states convincingly, will it not have the same effect with respect to the farmer protests? See, you're comparing chalk and cheese here. With respect to the statements of Udayanidhi Stalin, I think it's the confessional statement of a dynast, which carries so much value. It is like admitting to crime, that we've been saying that these people are against the Sanatana Dharma for ages. But his grandfather had the wisdom and the political subtlety to do it very subtly. He didn't do it overtly. He did it covertly. But this person does not have the understanding or political maturity to, handle this differently. So this is more of a statement of guilt, admission of guilt, where he said openly that our intention is to eradicate Sanatana Dharma, which is 80% of the faith of this population. So he wants to eradicate. Whereas the other protests that keep happening, that keeps happening on a routine basis. But there is a key difference in the way these protests are being handled by BJP and Congress. Take the case of India against corruption. There was no ground connect with the protesters, but ground connect is being established silently by the BJP. And simultaneously, the narrative war is being won in the social media, where all the fallacy of these protesters, all these so-called poor farmers are being exposed simultaneously, when BJP is doing everything it can to engage with the protesters. Just like we engage with China, just like we engage with talks in all possible ways, we are doing the same internally also. Now coming to the next point about DMK's presence here, DMK's Sanatana Dharma, will it actually have an effect here? We have enough material with us to counter DMK even without Sanatana Dharma in Tamil Nadu. Because the very presence of DMK is enough for people to be dissatisfied. All they have to do is rule for 5 years. People will give them a sabbatical for 10 years. Case in point, last elections, 2011, you saw them, they were out of power for 10 years. So every time there is a valid opposition, every time there is a strong opposition, a viable opportunity in Tamil Nadu, people go and grab it. And that is why this time we are super confident, and I'm sure Ketkarji and Bhandariji will agree that they have seen it on the ground. The swell for Mr. Annamalai, which is something unheard of. So we had options like Vijaykanth or a flash in the pan like Mr. Kamal Hassan. Both. We had options, but they were not viable, sustainable options. So we have a long-term plan of establishing Sanatana Dharma here. So we are not worried about it at all. So we're going to take the fight there. We're going to set the narrative game. We're going to go on the offensive, defensive. There is no more defensive here. So be rest assured, it will be reflected in the polls. And I'm sure...
The biggest change is, we are having a lit fest in Chennai. We are having faces who are not termed as, the fascist, and they are not journalists, and we are able to speak whatever we want. And, earlier it used to be a prerogative of only leftist journalists to be an independent journalist. Now editor, organizer can come, Karthik can come, Pradeep can come and speak. That itself is a big change.
So that being said, freedom of press, freedom of speech is a big question, because last year at least, I can't remember, but there have been several instances of, curbing of freedom of speech, especially in non-left, the non-left was targeted, especially in Tamil Nadu. You have West Bengal. The commune was also targeted last year for merely reporting a press meet held by Dikshitars in Chidambaram. So even now Sandesh Khali is happening, but reporters are not being allowed there, or those who are trying to report FIRs are being filed and stuff like that. So press has, the left has come up with this freedom of speech khatre mein hai, democracy khatre mein hai, and all that. How do you think? What are your thoughts on this? How should we? How this narrative going to be?
It is the same as Islam khatre mein narrative. You know, the people who actually kill the democratic voices, you know, I always ask that the media freedom depends on who is owning the media and who is funding the media. These two sources are going to decide your narratives. Delhi media will never talk anything against the Aam Aadmi Party government simply because it is the 800 crore advertisements will ever try to speak against the government. Whether corruption charges are true or not is not the point. The point is whether you are reporting the reality or not. Sandesh Khali is true or not, the investigation agencies will find out. But if some woman is coming out and talking about Sheikh Shahjahan, and Tamil Nadu, Tamil channels are not reporting about it, then is it media freedom? So they have actually, created the narrative of media freedom based on selective truth. The truth that is convenient to certain ideological position. So I personally believe that this is a systematic narrative that is built in last 10 years, and they will try continuing that in the coming days post 2024, as they have been saying that there will be no democracy after it. You know, every election to 2019 also they were saying this is the last election. Now 2024 also they are saying this is going to be the last election. If Modi gets elected, there will be no democracy. So you create fake narratives. There was one researcher in I think Michigan who did first thesis on Hindu militancy and religious or fanatic politics, something like that. He was J. Karan. He did his first research in 1951. Around the same period, there was one pastor in Kerala who wrote a book on RSS. This was about RSS. The other book was also on RSS, written not by RSS cadre, by a Kerala pastor. And he wrote a book that RSS, the true carrier of Hindu Swaraj. No PhD on RSS has ever quoted this book on RSS as true carrier of Hindu Swaraj. Everybody has quoted J. Karan. That is the difference. Yeah, that's because if you are doing a PhD, at least in your literature review, you should at least quote him that there such literature exists. But it is not there. So the selectivism, and if your freedom depends on selectivism, then it is not freedom. It may be golden cage, or maybe it is, a freedom that allows you to set what kind of cabinet you will have, what kind of policies you have, and what Karthik said about, what kind of travel or what kind of class you will get while traveling with Prime Minister. Many people have lost, it is a direct attack on many people's roji roti. So, they will have a narrative of freedom of press in danger.
See, this whole core of freedom of press not being there, democracy not there, democratic values in question. Let us look at it very factually. As of October 2023, there were 13 governments in this country, state governments, which did not have a BJP rule. Now, from December 2023, still 10 governments are there which did not have a BJP rule. it is not the problem of those who believe in Sanatan or those who believe in, say, Hindu religion, those who believe in taking the Sanatan values forward, that the Sanatan is accepted in quote-unquote non-traditional geographies. 2014, Bengal did not had Bharatiya Janata Party getting 20 seats, 18 seats. What happened in a time span of 5 years? The same geography, which was considered to be the bastion of the left per se, got 18 seats to the BJP with a 40% vote share. Telangana, which till 2014 was completely obsolete. The RSS will not be accepted in Telangana. You will not see people saying Jai Shri Ram in Telangana. What happened in 2019? The BJP got 4 seats and 14% vote share, 19% vote share, which is a jump of more than 100 to 150%. Northeast, Prafulji has worked so integrally there. Well, remember, people used to say, no, this is a different culture. How can this accept individuals, the RSS? How can it accept the political party which believes in, Sanatan? What has happened in Northeast right now? It is swept completely by saffron. I have stayed in Tripura in 2 successive elections for months, and I have seen development work on the ground. I've seen people accepting ideology on the ground. Now, why is this happening across geographies? Why is it that the graph of those who believe in Sanatan is increasing? 2009, the Congress party got 10 crore votes in this country. 2014 also it got roughly 10 crore votes in this country, and around in 2019 also it got roughly between 10 to 11 crore votes in this country. 2009 the BJP got 7 crore 80 lakh votes in this country. 2014 it increased to 15 crores, and in 2019 it increased to 22 crores. So which means this additional 15 crore are not individuals who've always said Jai Shri Ram. Those are new people who've accepted Sanatan, who've accepted the ideology, who've accepted the leader. So what is happening gradually? That India is gradually turning saffron, or you can say that India is gradually going back to its roots. So it's not that, if Prafulji will today say something to the audience, and if the audience does not believe in it, it's not necessary that the audience will buy that argument. Similarly, if the voter does not believe in it, the voter will not take it forward. The truth is that falsehood has been defeated, and it is getting defeated gradually in every geography. And this is why you see that every second land is turning saffron, because Bharat traditionally was always saffron. And that myth has always been broken. This is why you see that the baseline of the thinking has changed. Today in this country, no longer can you get the popular will by ridiculing Ram, ridiculing Sanatan. That has changed in the last 70 years for the first time, being a democratic nation. That is what I can tell you.
See, I have a simple test, Vidya. For last 75 years, RSS is the most abused organization in India. And in last 20 years, Modi is the most abused political leader in India. But nobody has got arrested for that. You try that in Tamil Nadu. Every time Rahul Gandhi says this, and I'm quite surprised, how blatantly he does that. He will come to the stage, call Prime Minister Chor, make baseless allegations about oil, about Adani, about Ambani, everything. And after coming down, he will tell media, press freedom khatam ho gaya. Oh, you are making outrageous statement right now. Nobody is questioning that. Here, people will think twice, even speaking truth about DMK, about Udayanidhi. Everybody will think twice. Why? This is the difference.
In fact, all these people, all these, people who are on the YouTube, which Karthik was talking about, who criticize the Prime Minister, 90% of their revenue comes for criticizing the Prime Minister. So, the person who is responsible for giving them so much of revenue is Modi bashing. So, they should be the first people to thank Narendra Modi, because of his inka ghar chal raha hai.
Exactly, and the point is, see, if you're talking about threat to democracy and threat to freedom of press, who handles law and order? It's a state subject. So majority of the cases, last week, there was a case on a BJP karyakarta for participating in a hashtag, which was going viral all along. So we were remembering the martyrs of the Coimbatore bomb blast who sacrificed their lives. I mean, there was a hashtag for that and cases were put for this simple thing. So who is behind this cancel culture? Who is behind this anti-democratic culture? It is definitely not the BJP. And I, to a certain extent, believe that the BJP is very soft because we have roughly 90% of the YouTube space here where they abuse the Prime Minister. They abuse Hinduism. It's okay to abuse a political personality, but they abuse Hinduism. And one case on 295A is not registered in Tamil Nadu. So it's definitely not the BJP that is opposing the press freedom. It is definitely the non-BJP states that is doing it. Also, all these people who complain about this lack of freedom of press, they are in bed with Congress. They are in alliance with the Congress, which is the worst case that has occurred to Indian press freedom. That is 1977. And people who were allegedly beaten up by them are now close friends with them. Okay, so the so-called Misa Stalin is close friends with them. So I don't think for a second that it has got to do anything with the BJP, but it has got everything to do with the non-BJP. And about talking about narratives, I think every time they tried a narrative with Modi ji, they have failed. They called him Panauti, they failed. They called him Maut Ka Saudagar, they failed. They called him Chaukidar Chor hai, they failed. So I urge the Congress and the Congress Karyakartas, especially our most vocal proponent, Shri Rahul Gandhi, to start such hashtags and to indulge in such narratives, because there cannot be a more able ambassador than him. So we wish him best of luck for that, and I hope it makes our work easier. Being the Vice President of BJP IT cell, we have to thank these two personalities, and if I get to meet them in person, I'll certainly do that. One is Shri Rahul Gandhi ji, another is Udayanidhi Stalin. You make a... So we want more from you, and we are waiting.
So yeah, we've come towards the close. So this question is to Pradeep. We have heard this several times, but we want to hear it again. Will it be 400 par this time? How will Tamil Nadu fare? Annamalai's impact?
See, I will not reveal the numbers because you're still going ahead with it, but what I can tell you that before coming to Chennai, I was in Odisha, and I was in this district called as Ganjam, which is considered to be the stronghold of Naveen Patnaik. He comes from that home district. I was shocked to see that I am seeing a swell for Prime Minister Narendra Modi even in the home district of Naveen Patnaik. Now, what I can tell you for sure, and this is not out of just my political conviction, but this is after looking at the data which is coming in the last 1 week repeatedly, and somewhere around first week of March is when it will stabilize, that what I am seeing from the data is that Narendra Modi in 2020-24 has very, very high probability to come with an even bigger mandate than 2019, even bigger mandate than 2014. It is very simple. There are 11 states in this country where Prime Minister Narendra Modi's graph can increase. 18 states where the graph can repeat as what it was in 2019. There is not a single state, if I can tell you from the audience, where there is a huge depreciation which is taking place. But there are many states where there is an appreciation taking place. Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana. Bengal is still at a state of flux, so I will not comment. These are 3 states. Maharashtra, Bihar is repeating what it is in 2019. And at the same time, Congress is weaker than what it was in 2019. So do not be surprised if the Congress party struggles to touch the 40-seat mark, because 50% of the seats of the Congress were from 2 states where it is weaker. It is weaker in Bastar, it is weaker in Jharkhand, it is weaker in Raebareli. So this election in 2024 has to be watched, because this is the mother of all elections. Because if the Congress does not touch even a 40-45 seats mark, you might see a split in the Congress party, because the brothers lobby does not like the sisters lobby, the sisters lobby does not like the brothers lobby. Both are failed products. Priyanka was launched in UP 2022. Out of 403 seats, Congress lost 401 seats. Rahul has been launched 52 times, I think, more than anybody could be launched, and 52 times he's failed. So you have to see what nobody could have imagined after independence might take place in 2024, whereas that if the Congress is less than 45-40, a split in the Congress can take place.
After 9 years of experience, we have started calling Pradeep as veteran. After 20 years of launching, he is still coming to an age. I don't know the case with Udayanidhi, but as far as Rahul Gandhi, this is true.
That answers who controls the funding of those newspapers and press.
You have something to say as a BJP member yourself?
No, see.
No, he is essentially a media person who happens to be in BJP. A social media activist who is in BJP.
Very true, sir. Very true, sir. So a lot of people keep asking me. The first question they ask is, okay, you have crowds. Initially, they used to be like, there won't be much of a turn up for Annamalai's Padayatra. And then it was like, okay, you're paying them for this. And then they were like, okay, it's organic, but will it be for all the 234 constituencies? And then when we are going to end the Padayatra, there's a swell on the ground. Yeah, will it translate to vote? So all I tell them is wait and watch. Because there is a combined anti-incumbency for these Dravidian parties ever since there has been electoral politics post-1947. So there is a combined anti-incumbency for them. But the biggest problem is there was no one single personality or party they could entrust their vote with. And now that we have got the full backing of the central command and an able leader who can deliver his promises, people are waiting for it. And we've done enough damage already. We release files and most of them are jittery already. We've sent 2 people to jail. One is there. He pissed in his pants literally, and I'm sorry for that. But the other person is waiting to go to jail. And Monday there is a verdict coming up about ex-minister, and there is a line of verdicts to come. So we've done enough damage even before we are in power. And we've set the ball rolling. The biggest difference is now we are not in the defensive. We don't answer them. You can say what you want to, and we are leading the narrative game from front. So I am telling you, it is definitely going to be a number that is going to shock everybody, literally everybody. And of course, on the day of the verdict, we will talk more about it, because I am not supposed to talk numbers. He's a psephologist, he can talk numbers. I don't want to sound brutish or audacious and be called by the party high command to shut up. So I cherish my freedom of expression as of now. So I am telling you, we are going to put up a very brilliant show, and it is going to be historic.
What is power of narratives? You know, many people say, oh, BJP is not a party of South. You know, from 1967, Congress has not formed a single majority government in Tamil Nadu. From 1985, Congress has not formed a single majority government either in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar. There are many such states where Congress is almost non-existent from 1995. That is state like Gujarat, where, you know, they're barring last election, they are not even in contest. But nobody says that Congress is not the party of Tamil Nadu. In last assembly election, Congress has got 2.3% vote share in Uttar Pradesh. Assembly election. Has ever any media asked whether Congress is a party of Uttar Pradesh or not? So we need to rephrase our questions now, and on the basis of connect on the ground and the right voting percentage, we have to ask who is the national party and who is the regional party.
No, just to add Prafulji's thing on this South versus North narrative, it's the most bogus narrative. There are 5 southern states, if I'm not wrong. Karnataka, the Bharatiya Janata Party last time won majority seats today, or this time also the BJP-JDS alliance, as of right now, is in a situation to sweep Karnataka. So state number 1. State number 2, Telangana, the BJP is getting more votes than what it got in 2019. So again, it is in much stronger position than 2019. State number 2. Andhra is a state which neither accepts the BJP or the Congress. So it's not a state where the Congress is accepted. It is Congress is in oblivion in Andhra Pradesh. Kerala is where the communists and the Congress fight. So I can give it, yes, there is a situation because there is a tacit understanding. Absolutely, with the alliance with the Muslim League for sure, and it is because of the pocket veto which is happening. So now the state of Tamil Nadu, that is also a state which is seeing the BJP rising as a party. So out of 5 states, 3 states are seeing a rise which is taking place. So I do not understand how do people give this bogus narrative which does not work on the ground. I'm like, out of 5 states, one party is rising and strong, and 1 state, neither of the 2 parties rising. So how is South voting for the Congress? It is factually wrong. It's actually factually wrong. I would have bought that narrative in 2014 or early 2014. But genuinely by facts, South is voting more for the BJP than what it had in 2014 and 19, and numbers tell this.
So, thank you so much. Inferring from Pradeep's words, we don't know whether it will be 400 par, but aayega to Modi hi. So, thank you so much, organizers. Thank you, panelists, for being very kind with a first timer like me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Part and parcel of our life, and we are very much, we adore him. And now it is to Pradeep. I request Mr. Shefali to honor Karthik Gopinath. Karthik Gopinath, Tamil Nadu Bharatiya Janata Party State Vice President, Social Media Cell. Ms. Hridaya, please come to the center of the dais. Please come forward. Ms. Hridaya Ramani, journalist from the Commune. Thank you, panelists, for this wonderful session on the media narratives in this modern India. Thank you. And before we go for a tea break, we have a book launch here. May I request the guests to please remain on the dais, and I request Ms. Shefali Vaidya to join us, Dr. Rajkumar to join us, the VCs to join us. I also request Sri M.K. Narayan and Dr. H.V. Hande to join us on the dais. There are 2 books here. We're going to see the launch of 2 books. Ms. Ami, please join us on the dais. The speakers, the morning session, if you're here in the hall, please come and join us on the dais. So there are 2 books here. The book titled Babur, The Chessboard King by Abbas. Ladies and gentlemen, please cheer Abbas for the book Babur, The Chessboard King. And the other book titled The 7-Word Mantras by Dr. J.S. Rajkumar. The team Chennai Lit Fest congratulates the author and wish them a grand success. Seven-word mantras by Dr. J.S. Rajkumar. May I help you? Ladies and gentlemen, to the authors Abbas and Dr. J.S. Rajkumar for their books, respectively Babar and the seven-word mantras. Thank you, dignitaries.
He was MGR's right hand, and he was a health minister, and he was one of... Sir, I would like to request Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, sir, we're searching for you. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan also to come up. I need to say something about these three gentlemen whom I've requested to come on. Mr. M.K. Narayan, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan. Kara, can you just help Uncle, sir?
We can actually have a separate book release with them